the dream reports of children, and some families signed up for this. I studied it. They followed their dream reports from like age 2 to 20.
Wow.
Longitudinally. Like, what are you dreaming about now? What are you dreaming about now? What are you dreaming about now? And their dreams are simple. It's like a table or a blanket. Interestingly, when they dream of animals, they're not often pets. They're like beasts and monsters and teddy bears. So I can't explain all of that, but that's what they're describing. It's not the pet that they have that's in their dream. And as we're learning to walk and talk to age 2, 3, 4, something's going on in the mind. There are some structures. I need a moment for this one. There's a type of cognition that's developing. First is visual spatial. And then these developmental scientists, they looked at it that the wildness of kids' dreams correlates more to the complexity of how they navigate visual spatial things. They have a test called block design. It's not how well they can spell or remember. The more three-dimensional they are, that parallels complexity of dreaming in a child. Mm-hmm. So all the parents out there, you don't make them memorize, in my opinion. I did like cultivate their sense of gymnastics, music, art, whatever you can, different foods, different diversity experiences. It's not being correlated to logic.
Right.
So that also like makes me feel like that guides a little bit. And then what happens is they develop this thing called, at some point they realize, it's just an example, that teacher or that uncle or that person, that they're smiling and saying, hey, I want to help you, but the capacity develops, it's called theory of mind, where you start to read the other person's intention beyond just what they're saying.
Interesting.
Yeah, that develops. Kids are gullible, that develops.
Theory of mind.
Yeah, TOA, people can look it up, theory of mind. So that's just like there's I could throw the ball, like that's develops. At a certain age, around 5 or 6, 7, and the idea of that person's intentions may not be completely clear, or they might be misrepresenting their intentions.
Interesting.
Or maybe I shouldn't trust them, or maybe they would hurt me. These important concepts arrive in the brain at the same time as nightmares arrive.
Wow.
So I think if I were to say, why do we, and then these nightmares all go away for kids. And then as adults, we get them if we have trauma. They come as a wave.
Interesting.
It's crazy, right?
Wow.
I might be completely wrong, but I would love to hear somebody come up with a better.
So you're not just gullible all the time. What everyone says.
I think nightmares make the mind.
Nightmares make the mind.
Yeah, they make you sharp. They give you a sense of self versus other. They make you less gullible. They create a sense of threat. The fleeing and the terror, I think it guides the cultivation of this thing called theory of mind, where you realize just because the person's smiling, that doesn't mean they have good intentions.
Interesting.
And that is cool, right? I mean, they're not arriving for all of us at age 8, 6, 7, 8, and then fading for most of us as we get into adolescence without a reason. Like that's not a glitch in the system.
Wow.
My belief, I wonder, again, with humility, I'm taking on big things here. So if that's not what it is for you, I believe it. I'm not saying I got it all figured out, but I'm just here to show you and then people, and that we are in many ways still that dynamic as adults. So whatever you're at the grounded level, your struggles with your lover, your struggle with your partner, you're a dynamic ecosystem of mind and body. And I just want to take people back to look at that. We're not, and there's a certain part of the brain that gives you that capacity. We'll get into that some other day, but in that part, the newest part of the brain that pushed the forehead forward, there's a part that when it's injured or doesn't work well, we can't make new opinions or we become gullible. There's some cellular basis to the theory of mind.
Wow.
But again, I think nightmares arriving for all of us at the same time as we're becoming oh, that person might hurt me, or what do I want? Self versus other. I mean, self in italics. I think that's all happening in parallel for a reason.
Wow.
I think that's all happening in parallel.
So,
Chapter 2, right at the gates.
So if nightmares make the mind, what do erotic dreams do?
Okay. So that's why it's just chapter 3. I know everybody's going to want to hear about this one, but it's it's PG-13, but I think the concepts are very mature. So again, we return to our primer that there's this. We are a waking brain and dreaming brain, and they intersect. I think everybody knows that. It's a matter of to what degree and how. That's the other universal dream. I've never had a dream of teeth falling out, but it's been reported for centuries.
I've had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few times.
So dreams follow patterns, right? People have dreams of falling, but that's like 20%, 60%.
I've had that too. Yeah.
But I've had dreams of falling, but not, but everybody's had essentially, there'll be some people who say, no, I've never had a sexual dream. Okay, I'm not here to
a majority.
In scientific terms, everybody.
Yeah.
So I call those two universal dreams.
Nightmares and erotic dreams.
Right.
Universal
dreams. And I think when something is universal, a part of there's awesome fields out there like evolutionary psychology. Like the gifts, their strengths and weaknesses today aren't just physical, that we're inheriting thinking patterns, dreaming patterns. And this is mind-blowing, but this has been well known. I'm just able to put it, I think, into a framework now. Is falling teeth dreams, teeth falling out, it doesn't follow a pattern in people. But nightmares cluster in families. Think about when I say, yeah, exactly, I have the same. And I've known that because I went to medical school and they said that. I just didn't have a understanding of it. But I believe, and there is evidence, that we inherit not just our physical traits, but our cognitive traits.
Oh, yeah.
And if we inherit our risk aversion or proclivity to risk, if we inherit our parents' coping mechanisms or failure to cope, we may be inheriting dreaming patterns.
Interesting.
And I think that we have to be open to that's why nightmares arrive for every kid, man. That's not happening by chance. I may not have the explanation for it. I think it cultivates the sense of self and it gives you mind reading ability with somebody else. That's called theory of mind. That's my opinion. Then the next one comes is sexual dreams. And this one is interesting because, let me break this down for you. It's different because when my sons were born, and we're born with like the marble, it's, and what you've heard this, use it or lose it, like if you cover a child's eye because they have some health issues, that part that goes to the right side of the brain and the left side, each eye goes to both occipital lobes. It's not this one to this one, it's this crossing.
Mm-hmm.
If you cover those parts wither or they repurpose, right? It's an adaptive system. Use it or lose it. You got the neurons, the 100 billion neurons, they're like microscopic jellyfish. Use them or you're going to lose them. That makes sense. And that's what happens for vision, hearing, taste, movement. If you wrap somebody's arm, the motor area will wither.
Wow.
Okay, so that's built in. But how does a touch become a caress? That's a capacity from the same sensation. Now it can become erogenous.
Right.
Right. There aren't new nerves being laid down in our fingertips. Right. But when a lover's touch is different than a intention, even, right? Not even a touch. So that capacity develops in the human brain around the time of 11, 12, and 13.
Interesting.
And it's not after puberty. It's not like puberty, however people conceive puberty, but you don't go through bodily puberty and then say, I think I'm turned on. It's different. Your brain develops the ability to be turned on, I believe, through erotic dreams.
Wow.
That erotic dreams are, again, the mind's cultivation for desire. And then you start to see changes in the sensation part of the brain where now it's not just, now erotic touch is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Without getting too deep into like child rearing and all that, but sensuality arrives. It's not prepubescent. It's not there. It must come at a certain time. And around that time, people who have never had intercourse, people who have been castrated chemically for cancer treatment, people who have had chemotherapy, people who have had their ovaries removed, they still have erotic dreams.
Really?
It's not the body saying, I like it, let's think more about it. I think it's the other way around.
Wow.
And that it arrives. And in the biggest sense, wouldn't that be an important thing for people to procreate? That desire arrives. And the fact that it arrives before, so here it's not use it or lose it. You know, it's, here you go, it's time to use it.
It comes before it's ready.
Very good. Yeah. So it's something, I would love a conversation at a different time with somebody else with that. That doesn't follow normal neurodevelopmental pathways. Usually it's like, yeah, I can see, and if I cover an eye, I lose that ability. You're sort of equipped, and then you cultivate. Here, it arrives, and again, erotic dreams, like in that J. Cole song, Wet Dreams, he says, I think I'm smashing, but I'm sleeping.
Wow.
So before he has his first intimate relationship with this person, he's rapping about, like, he's performing the act in his dreams, in his erotic dreams, before they even happen in real life. That's not the usual order of how the brain and nerves work. So again, my humble opinion is,
wow,
erotic dreams are the embodiment of desire. They make sure that we want, and that's advantageous for us as creatures, species, and people.